the car started to develop a clunking noise, and upon further inspection, I found that well, right now you're not going to be able to see it because the car is lifted up off the ground, but the rear suspension, the shaft of the shock, has found a way to poke its way up through. It sticks up about 4 inches, as opposed to just sitting flat like that. So taking the wheels off and just on a cursory inspection, this little bracket right here, or little shim, is actually on upside down. It's supposed to be facing this way over here, and well, I need to basically take this apart and see what else, see if anything's broken or missing, because whoever installed these box springs, they messed up. Removal of the rear shock is actually fairly straightforward. There are 2 bolts inside the trunk for the upper mount, and 1 underneath over here. Basically what we're going to do is detach the 2 up inside the trunk, loosen the upper control arms, and also loosen the lower control arms. You're going to need to get an alignment after this, and after removing this bolt for the lower shock mount, we should be able to push the whole assembly down enough to get clearance to remove the shock and spring. It's a 14 millimeter. I already went through and got them loose. I just don't want to take it all the way off. This one's going to be a little trickier because there isn't as much clearance. Well, in order to get the rear stabilizer bar link, you're going to need a 5 millimeter Allen wrench. It goes in here, and then use your 14 millimeter open box. Basically, I'm going to need both hands for this. Use one hand to hold the Allen wrench, and the other one to loosen. There. Actually, that's pretty easy. I can just do that. There you go. That's out of the way. Okay, the next thing to do is to loosen up the lower control arm bolts. Got my breaker bar and a 17 millimeter. Oh. There. I think it's good enough. And then we do the same to the other one. And here's the lower shock bolt. Again, it's a 17 millimeter. I mean, it seems really easy, but that's because I hit these things with parts blaster a while back. There. Okay, well, it's going to be damn near impossible to get a decent camera angle in here to film. But anyway, it's pretty straightforward. You just have to get around these hoses. I'll show you on the other one. And there are 2 bolts right here and here. Don't undo this one until you have the spring compressed and held in place, or else the thing's going to fly apart. Okay, well, I took off the upper shock mount bolts. Basically, it's push this down. Come on. Let's try a different strategy. There it is. Okay. and repeat for the second side. Okay, well, I have the exploded parts diagram from the factory, from the parts counter over at Mazda. I'm just doing a little comparison. Okay, that's in order. This piece right here, yeah, that's correct. One thing I did notice is that there's supposed to be a little plastic gasket that goes around here that's missing, and it isn't in the car either. The only thing that I noticed out of whack is this piece. It's flipped upside down. And dust boot looks okay. There's no tears, there's no leaking, so yay, I can reuse those. This one's a little dried out. This little piece right here. So I'm going to go ahead and order that. And other than that, everything looks okay. So I guess we're not going to know until we get this compressed and everything blown apart. Yeah, I got the passenger side out. I was looking over the parts. I mean, somebody really cranked down on this to draw the shaft up. That metal cup that was upside down over here, it's still upside down, but it's pushed way up high like this. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. Looking for the bump stops. I think I got it. And that is upside down. Nice. And I imagine this one's also probably going to be upside down. Yeah, I can feel it. Okay. So anyway, I just need to order a few little pieces. I think I can reuse most of this. As far as the shocks, I don't know. I'm gonna have to check them out once everything is pulled apart. Okay, well, I took the old springs and shocks over to a shop and had them swapped out. Here's the new assembly, and go with the Coney. Looking at the old pieces is what we found. Up top, those are fine, but on the bottom, this one is for the passenger side. It was assembled upside down, and as you can see, it has quite a bit of a divot in there. But really, what was more surprising was the driver's side. It's much more severe, and as you can see, there's a number of cracks around here. And what happened was this washer basically cracked open and slid down the shaft of the shock over here. That's what was causing the noise. So now what we're going to do is begin reassembly. Okay, well, the first step is to take this little plastic, I don't know what you would call it, I guess it's a sheet. Yeah, put it on top of here. Basically, this is for noise reduction. And I went ahead and labeled which side faces the wheel, just to keep everything the same. Line up the holes in the front, up top, and then from here, just kind of get everything back in the relative position. Next will be your bolt. Alright, you tighten that down, but not all the way. Let's get this set up, and then the top two, and we'd start tightening everything up. We're about to start putting on the upper shock mounts. As you can see, the What we need to do is raise up the lower control arm so that the shock can poke up enough through so I can get these bolts started. But what I did was I put a jack underneath the lower control arm, and I'm just slowly raising it up. And then from here, once you start tightening these down, it'll naturally just draw the shock up. These two nuts right here are supposed to be torqued down to 22 to 26 foot-pounds. Okay, so I got my 5mm Allen wrench. So actually I have to hold this in place while you tighten it down. It says you're supposed to tighten it down to 32 foot-pounds, but alright. Okay, let's see, on a set torque wrench. This is for the upper control arm bolts right here and over here. It's supposed to be set for 50 to 60 foot-pounds. That's barely enough for one click. There. Bring these down all the way just because and I have the car realigned, and I'm just going to let them know what I did and what bolts are loose, so that way they can go through and set them to the correct specs when they go ahead and do the alignment. Okay, so this is the lower control arm. It's a 17mm. Mine at 60. You can go up to 70, but yeah. Anyway. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Only thing left is to put your wheel back on, and then go have it aligned.